Good afternoon, boys and girls. Welcome back to my reading corner. Today we're going to read a new AR story, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I'm sure a lot of you know this story, but it's a fun one, and it is a level 2.6. Here is the code if you'd like to type this in instead of the whole title. This is a classic story. I found it in my library here at home and figured it'd be a good one to read. Make sure you're taking those AR tests. I can see how you guys are doing, who's taking tests, whose points are going up. So that's a great activity to do once you get all your schoolwork done during the day. You can read a nice story, take an AR quiz. And for this, you can really just kick back and listen to the story. And you could read it again to build that those comprehension skills. Without further ado, here's Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Once there were three bears who lived in a neat little house deep in the woods. The great big bear was Papa Bear. He had a loud, growly voice. The middle bear was Mama Bear. She had a sweet, low voice. And the smallest bear was Baby Bear. He had a high, squeaky voice. Every morning, the bears had breakfast together. They each had their own bowl, which they filled to the top with hot porridge. That's another word for like oatmeal. There was a great big bowl for Papa Bear. There was a middle-sized bowl for Mama Bear. And there's a little bowl for Baby Bear. After breakfast, the bears rested in the living room. They each had their own chair to sit in. There was a great big chair for Papa Bear, there was a middle-sized chair for Mama Bear, and there was a little chair for Baby Bear. The bears sat in their chairs and talked about how nice and quiet their cozy little house was. In the evenings, the bears were sleepy. They went upstairs to their cozy bedroom. They each had their own bed to sleep in. And before I read that, I would like you to predict what the sizes of those beds were. There was a great big bed for Papa Bear. There was a middle-sized bed for Mama Bear. And there was a little bed for Baby Bear. Papa Bear snored loud, growly snores. Mama Bear snored sweet, low snores. Baby Bear snored high, squeaky snores. One morning, the bears found that the porridge was too hot to eat, so they went for a walk in the woods to let their breakfast cool. That same morning, a little girl named Goldilocks went out early to pick flowers for her mother. She walked farther and farther into the woods until she came upon the neat little house. Hungry and tired, Goldilocks knocked on the door. I wonder who lives here, she thought, but nobody answered. Something smelled good, so Goldilocks went inside, and she saw 3 steaming bowls on the table. She ate a spoonful from the great big bowl, but the porridge was too hot. She ate a spoonful from the middle-sized bowl, but the porridge was too cold. Then Goldilocks ate from the smallest bowl, and the porridge was just right. She ate spoonful after spoonful until all the porridge was gone. Goldilocks was tired from walking so far, and she wanted to rest. She looked around for a nice chair. In the living room, she saw 3 chairs. First, Goldilocks sat in the great big chair, but it was too hard. Next, Goldilocks sat in the middle-sized chair, but it was too soft. Then Goldilocks sat in the smallest chair, and it was just right. But crash! The bottom broke, and whack! The back snapped. Goldilocks fell to the floor with a thump. The little chair was smashed. Uh-oh. Now Goldilocks was really tired. She walked upstairs and peeked into the cozy bedroom. 3 beds stood neatly against the wall. "Oh, I'll just lay down right here," said Goldilocks. First, she climbed into the great big bed, but it was too hard. What do you think's going to happen next? Next, she climbed into the middle-sized bed, but it was too soft. Then she climbed into the smallest bed. That felt just right. Goldilocks snuggled under the quilt and soon fell asleep. A short time later, the bears came home. They thought their porridge must be cool enough to eat by now. Papa Bear looked into his bowl and frowned. "Somebody has been eating my porridge," he said in his loud, growly voice. Next, Mama Bear looked in her bowl. "Somebody has been eating my porridge," she exclaimed in her sweet, low voice. Then Baby Bear turned his empty bowl upside down. "Somebody's been eating my porridge," he squeaked, "and it's all gone." Papa Bear walked into the living room. His chair had been moved. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," he said in his loud, growly voice. Next, Mama Bear saw the flat cushions on her chair. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," she exclaimed in her sweet, low voice. Then Baby Bear found his chair smashed to pieces. "Somebody's been sitting in my chair," he squeaked, "and now it's broken." The bears went upstairs. I want you to predict what they're going to find. The bears went upstairs. Papa Bear saw that the pillow on his bed had been moved. "Somebody's been sleeping in my bed," Papa Bear said in his loud, growly voice. Next, Mama Bear looked at her bed and saw that the covers had been messed up. "Somebody has been sleeping in my bed," she exclaimed in her sweet, low voice. Then Baby Bear looked at his bed. A little girl with golden curls lay fast asleep upon his bed. "Somebody's been sleeping in my bed," squeaked Baby Bear, "and there she is." Goldilocks woke up at the sound of Baby Bear's high, squeaky voice. She rubbed her eyes. The 3 bears stood over her. "Oh my!" cried Goldilocks. Frightened, she jumped out of Baby Bear's bed and dashed downstairs. Goldilocks ran out of the front door and into the woods as fast as her legs could carry her. The 3 bears never saw Goldilocks again. Their little house deep in the woods remained peaceful. And their porridge, well, it was just right. Alrighty, that was Goldilocks and the 3 bears. I hope you enjoyed that story. Go ahead and log into your AR app on Clever and you can take this quiz. Good luck, but before you do, I have a couple of questions. What was the main idea of the story? If somebody at home were to ask you what was the story about and you had to answer in 1 or 2 sentences, what would you say? Also, I think this should be pretty easy. Who were the characters in the story? I could think of a few. Some were people, some were animals. Who were they? And last, what was the setting of the story? The setting means where the story took place. So where was the story taking place? It could be one place. It could be a couple places. You can look back in the pictures. They might help you tell the story. But think about those questions before you take the test. That'll be a little strategy to help before you take your quiz. Good luck, boys and girls. I hope you find some time to go outside. It is a beautiful day, but also get some work done. So you'll have some free time to enjoy the beautiful weather today. Have a good afternoon.